Welcome to my work. My name is Brian. The name of my program is Your Body Never Lies. And what this is basically the workshop that I was looking for as a kid. When I was 15, my cardiologist told me that I had to have a heart operation or I'd be dead in 10 years. And so I decided I had to find a teacher, a healer, a workshop, something to unravel what the heck was going on with my body. And it was obviously impacting me psychologically as well. So, I'm not going to tell you my long story right now, but just know that this workshop and this information was not available 30 years ago. And while pieces of it were available, I got a piece, from one place, and another piece from another place, and another piece from another place. It took a solid 20 years to gather the information, and another 10 years to make it all fit together in a way that I could teach. Because the information itself, as I use it, I've been doing it for 20, 25 years, like no problem. Being able to explain it, though, to somebody else and to teach you so that you can also do it, that is what took the 20 years. Unraveling exactly what it is that was going on. So, good news is that it works. I'm 51, I'll be 52 next month. So obviously I made it, I never got that operation. And my heart no longer has a murmur. There's no longer a funny heartbeat when I check. But this program I'm doing, it's not actually about physical healing. That's actually pretty low on the totem pole of what I consider to be valuable as far as this work is concerned. This work is about clearing out the mind, because what I discovered essentially is that the reason I had a heart murmur, that was a physical manifestation of a software glitch in my head. That was a bad idea I had, and that was manifesting itself as a hole in my heart. And when I was able to shift my idea, then my heart healed itself. Easy peasy. I'm only telling you this so that you know that the information works and that it's powerful. And I don't know, it's YouTube. Maybe you won't believe me. And it's Facebook Live too. Maybe you won't believe me. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the math of what I'm offering here makes total sense, and you will get it. So if you can take 5 minutes or 20 minutes to listen to what it is I have to offer you, you might get great benefit. What this workshop does, the Your Body Never Lies Playshop, which is a weekend training, is it puts you back in control of your thoughts. And there's no simpler way to put it. If you have thoughts right now that you cannot shut off, then you don't have control of your thoughts. It's as simple as that. And if you're driving your car or riding a bus or walking down the street and you cannot keep your head in a straight way, if your mind just sort of wanders off into outer space, or you start thinking about things that happened yesterday or 10 years ago, and you can't control that, that's a good indication that you would get great benefit from this training. This training, it's about retraining yourself, because most of our problems, and this is just from my perspective, 90 to 95% of the world's problems come from our subconscious believing that our old memories are actually still happening right now. And maybe you haven't seen this in yourself, maybe you have. Certainly seen it in other people. When someone gets mad and they start accusing you or somebody else of something that never happened, right? It's because they're seeing outside of themselves something that actually happened years ago. You remind them of somebody they knew when they were a kid, and so they expect you to behave like that person they knew as a kid. And so they treat you a certain way, or they accuse you of things that you would never do because they think you are that person. This mechanism of our mind not being able to tell the difference between memories and reality The good news is that it's not a hardware problem. There's nothing wrong with your body, and there's actually nothing wrong with you. This work, it's about what you did. You trained your body to hold on to old memories. You did this when you were a child, before you knew better, and before you knew what you were doing. And essentially, and this is my story, it applies to 99% of the people I've met. It might not apply to you, but listen, just in case I'm speaking to you. Something happened in your life that you did not like, and it didn't matter if you fell off your bike and skinned your knee, or maybe your parents got divorced, or maybe you lost a pet unexpectedly. At some point when you were a child, you had a feeling, you had a sensation in your body that you did not like, right? A sensation of loss, or a sensation of rejection, sensation of not being enough, a sensation of not belonging. And this feeling, when you're young, and maybe you weren't speaking to your parents about it, right? If you didn't have we want to call it a social structure to like discuss things going on in your mind, that feeling, if you didn't know what else to do with it, you psychically pushed it away. You pushed away the feeling because you didn't like it. You didn't want to feel it, right? You want to go back to your happy feelings. I mean, who wouldn't? When you did that, you pushed away a feeling, and that caused several chain reactions within your body. And within your body includes your mind and your heart space and everything else. One is that was making your feelings wrong. At least that one specific feeling, you were making it wrong by pushing it away, and you were training your body that feelings are wrong, especially bad ones. That was your first mistake. The other chain reaction that happened is that you trained your body that is what it should do with feelings you don't want to have. And so maybe you skinned your elbow by falling off your bike, and you didn't like that feeling. And then maybe, you watched somebody get hurt on the playground at school, and you didn't like the way that made you feel either, so you pushed that feeling away. And then the teacher made you wear a dunce cap in the corner, and you didn't like the way that made you feel, so you pushed that feeling away. Eventually our body starts believing that feelings should be pushed away. And as we get older and older, and our body naturally starts pushing these feelings we don't want, and starts pushing them away, pretty soon we don't really feel anything anymore. If your body believes that feelings are wrong, that feelings should be denied or suppressed or pushed away, what ends up happening is that, one, you become a little insensitive. And insensitive shows up as like lack of empathy, lack of noticing subtle information, and from outside perspective, it's really feels like a lack of connection. This work unravels that in such a fun and easy way that it's mind-blowing. And it's mind-blowing in a good way, because when you suppress a feeling that you didn't want to have, and I don't care if it's something that happened yesterday or when you were 2 years old, when you psychically pushed away a feeling that you don't want to have, you pushed it away. You pushed it away with your attention, right? That is your internal psychic power, is your attention and your imagination. You used your attention to push away a feeling that you didn't want to have, and then you let go of your attention and let your attention go, and now your attention is masking that old memory or masking that old feeling. And some of your attention is literally now held down in the past, preventing you from feeling that old feeling. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. So, do you recognize that you've done this yet? Do you recognize this? Because when you do, the next piece to be aware of that you probably are in denial about is that this attention you use to hold down those old feelings, that is also attention that you use to take in information from the outside world, right here, right now. That means that the more you suppress your feelings, the less attention you have for the world around you. This explains why, as we get older, our blinders get closer and closer in, and we've noticed less and less information. It's because all of the attention that we could have to take this information in is now being used to hold down old memories, old feelings. And that's ridiculous. The reason it's ridiculous, and I know it made sense to you as a kid, and maybe it still makes sense to you right now, keep listening. Holding a memory down, you're holding down a shadow. That's like being afraid of the dark because of all the monsters that are in there, right? And not only are there monsters in the room, but you're holding the light switch off because you don't want to see the monsters. But that resistance, that holding the light switch down and keeping those monsters at bay, that's what gives the monsters strength. That's what creates the heaviness. That's what creates the drama. It's that resistance, it's that pushing back that creates, the backsplash, the backflow, the explosion back. Excuse me. I really love talking about this info. I get excited. What we're holding down isn't real. The only reason it's impactful is that we are holding it down. All we do in this work is teach our body the difference between memories and reality. That's it. There's lots of ways to do that. I have one way that I believe is very quick and very, it's drama-free. And it's very fast, so I think it's great. Show your body that a memory is actually just a memory and not happening anymore, and your body will no longer be afraid of it, and it will no longer feel a need to suppress it. When you look at one of these memories that you suppressed as a kid, and your body gets that it's actually a memory, it just lets it go. And until you do that, every memory that you have held down as a kid or even last week, doesn't matter, every memory that you've ever held down, your body believes is happening right now. Your body literally believes that those feelings you pushed away as a kid or as an adult are perpetual. And so it tries to cope with them. It tries to figure out ways to deal with them. The good news is that those things your body is dealing with, those old memories, they're not real anymore. They are no longer happening. It doesn't matter how real they feel. They only feel real because you suppress them. So in this work, what we do, we show the body that what it's holding on to is actually a memory, and then the memory just goes away. Your body goes, oh wait, that's not actually still happening, and just lets it go. You don't have to figure out how to let it go. You don't have to figure out how to cope with it now. Like, it's just gone. And, within a few days, you'll scratch your head and wonder, oh yeah, what was it that I let go of? And even if you do remember, you won't even care. You'd be like, oh yeah, mom and dad got divorced when I was a kid. Who cares? It happened however long ago, right? It's not happening right now. Things that are happening right now don't stress us out if we confront them and deal with them. A mad dog comes in the room, and if you jump up and go to grab it and get it out of the room, you're not going to stress out. You're just taking care of a situation. If a crazy mad dog comes in and you go into fear and you refuse to feel your fear, you go catatonic, you don't do anything, and now maybe the dog bites you, and yeah, maybe you do have a problem. But the problem wasn't the dog. As long as you think that your problems are outside yourself, as long as you think in that situation that the problem was the dog, you're never going to get better. And by better, I mean full control over your mind, which means absolute silence when you want it, and thoughts in whatever direction you desire when you want them. And it means willingness to feel, right? So you can feel the love, and you feel the pain, and you feel the hate, and you feel the bliss, and you feel it all, because it's all amazing. As an adult, you can feel how all feelings are amazing. Bad feelings don't have to shut you down, even though they may have as a kid. This work, if I can keep my mind in a straight line here, it's just about that. Teaching our body, our inner wisdom, or our ego, whatever you want to call it, we're teaching our body the difference between memories and reality. And we do that, by unraveling how we suppressed memories as a child. How, when, and why. And we do that in a 10-hour workshop. It's 2 days, 5 hours Saturday, 5 hours on a Sunday, and you unravel what you did as a kid, and you start to take control of how you arrange your mind and what you do with feelings. It's an amazing thing. And the benefit is that all of that attention that you have used since you were a child to hold old feelings down that you didn't want to have, all of that attention gets returned to you. Eventually, not all at once on the weekend, but as you reclaim feelings, you're also reclaiming attention. And that attention opens up your blinders, and you start noticing more and more information from the outside world. And then you start noticing that the world isn't out to get you. You'll notice that that person isn't the same person as the person who hurt you 10 years ago. They just look like them. That doesn't make them the same person. But, this associative reality that our mind wants us to live in only gets us into trouble. And the good news is it's self-created. It's not a hardware issue. It's a software issue. You programmed yourself as a kid to have a life like this. And the good news is you can reprogram yourself as an adult and reclaim your attention, reclaim your sense of feeling, your ability to empathize, your sensitivity, your sense of self, the sense of who you truly are, and your ability to interact with others. It's easy, What it comes down to and why this is valuable, it turns out that when you push feelings away and you make feelings wrong, you start to feel disconnected from the world. And that sense of disconnection that you are the only one, sometimes it may feel that everybody else in the world isn't actually a real person. They're just sort of there for you, like you're on a big stage. That's a good indication that you feel a little disconnected, or maybe you're just aware of disconnection. If you're not aware, if you can't look in somebody's eyes and know exactly who they are, where they come from, their perspective, what they're feeling, what they think of you, what they're feeling about their life right now, right here, that's information you should be able to get simply with your feelings by looking in somebody's eyes, and if it's hard to look in somebody's eyes, or if you question the information you get when you look at somebody, that means you have attention lost in your past, unavailable to you right here, right now. And this training returns that information so that you can take in more information right here, right now. And yeah, that sums up this workshop. This is the workshop I wanted to take when I was 15. This is the workshop I looked for a decade. And once I figured out, I made the mistake of taking an IQ test out of an Omni magazine, I think, when I was a kid. And I found out that I'm smart. And once I found out I was smart, I realized, I guess I'm supposed to create this workshop. And it took me 20 years, I'm saying this and repeating it because after 25 or 30 years of really being withdrawn and just being in meditation and chasing teachers and figuring this stuff out, as I integrate back into society, I'm realizing that, not many people have put the time and effort into this the way I have. And I see a lot of what's out there in terms of workshops and what purports to be healing. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work because as long as your body can't tell the difference between memories and reality, then your body is going to project your memories out here. And, you'll see your history out here. If you got hit on the head by a redhead when you were 10, and now suddenly you got a new job and, the room is full of redheads, your head's going to hurt all the time. And it doesn't have to. That's silly, right? It hurts because when that person hurt you as a child, you refused to feel it. If you had just felt it and gone through the experience would be over, and now you wouldn't get triggered in this present moment today. So that's a lot. I get excited. I start talking a little fast. So I think that's good for this video. We're leaving Facebook Live on, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I've got an assistant here who can read me the questions. And then YouTube, please subscribe. and watch the workshop videos. You're going to get a lot out of it, and you're going to get confused, and you'll have questions, and then interact. Believe me, there's not a single question you could possibly have that I've not had myself and I've not had to go search an answer for. This workshop took me 30 years, right? You can do it. If you come do it live, you can do it in a weekend, and then it's going to take you a few months of actually, doing the work outside of class. If you take the online workshop, my guess is that it should take 6 weeks to get through the 30, 35 videos. And, do it. Take your time. And then when you have questions, please interact. You will not fail. The only way you can fail to get through this workshop is if you fail to interact. And the interacting part is all up to you. If you interact and you ask the question that you have, you will get through the workshop. That's what I do with my life. That's what I am here for. So, use me. Call. Bother me. You're not bothering me. This is my life's work. It's what I do. I'm interested. I'm excited for you to get through the program. So, that's why you should do the program. And that's the end of video number 1 for today.